The case against 95 Libyan nationals arrested at an alleged military camp just outside White River in Mpumalanga has been postponed to 26 August. The group made their second court appearance in the White River Magistrate's Court today. They have been charged with violating the country's Immigration Act. Newzroom Afrika's Mnisi was at court and joins us now. Good afternoon to you, Linda. Yet another postponement.
Yes, indeed, and we're still right at the beginning of this case, Vuyo, and you see that by the postponement for further investigation, not uncommon in new matters. This is how they usually unfold, and especially in light of the fact that the court interpreter was only secured for the second court appearance going forward. And that means now the communication between the lawyers of the accused persons as well as, in court will now start, unfolding. Those communication about what happens next will start happening. I mean, without the court interpreter, proceedings could not go ahead because the accused persons who are supposed to know what is happening in the proceedings wouldn't necessarily know and understand what was being said because all of it would be communicated in English. So the Arabic court interpreter has now been secured, paving the way for the matter to go ahead. But now it's since been postponed to the 26th of August. This is for further investigation, especially in light of, a number of allegations against these Libyan nationals. The MEC for community safety here in the province of Mpumalanga was in attendance, and this is what he had to say for you.
Definitely, I'm happy because things are going according to the plan. They have given us, as the state, ample time to conclude our investigation. I hope by the 26th of August, we shall have concluded the investigation so that we'll be able to put our case before the court.
This time that the court has given to the state will give them enough time to do further investigations. And like I said, in light of the many allegations that are coming out of various communities, particularly those that are around where that alleged military camp was situated, the police, speaking about these complaints that the community members have come forward to speak about, some of them even saying that there are certain criminal cases that were opened that were not being followed up on. So the police are now saying that if there has been such incidences, they're asking those people to come forward so that those cases can essentially be followed up on. Let's take a listen to what the spokesperson of the SAPS in the province had to say.
With regard to those rumors that there were people, especially coming from Masoi, I think you have seen them indicating that there are criminal cases. We are not saying that it didn't happen. However, we are still calling for those that might have been victims to come forth. So far, we are still waiting for that, but we are not saying that it has not yet happened, but it has not yet been formally reported. So we encourage members of the public who might have been victims to come forth so that the police can investigate, because you cannot investigate when someone has not laid formally a charge. So that will help us. So we call on community members who have claimed to have been victimized to come forth so that it can be investigated.
Still no word, Linda, from the NPA as to whether additional charges may be laid.
Well, you'd recall, Bravuyo, that the NPA deals with information or evidence that has been brought to it by the SAPS. And when I had a word with them earlier on, what they indicated was that based on the information that will or may be provided by the police, that's when they can actually think about the charges. But also it depends on the kind of evidence that they bring. Is it sufficient enough for further charges to be laid? Those are the questions that they ask themselves. And if it is, that's when they will then, bring about further charges. But they continue not to rule out the possibilities of laying more charges, especially because there are a number of allegations that have been leveled against these Libyan nationals. But also, you'll remember, investigations are ongoing. I asked them, particularly the police who are in charge of the investigations, I asked them about the possibilities of even questioning the farm owners, the people that were in charge of that facility. And what they're saying is that the investigation is at a sensitive stage and they're not able to divulge certain information and to discuss who has been called or interviewed and any of those things that are linked to their investigation. So at this point, all they're telling us is that the investigations are continuing. But of course, they happen at a time when there are a number of questions. How long these people have been in the country for, and how long this facility has been operating as a military camp, as the state or as the police allege. You'd recall that what we know is that the facility was accredited for security training purposes. But what then happened is that they then went further, a step further, operating this facility as a military camp. There are a number of contraventions that they say have happened in this regard, that they say they've picked up, particularly when it comes to SIRA and, the sort of regulation or the sort of permit that they've given to them. So those are still subject to investigations. But you remember that the Home Affairs Department did not waste time. Once this matter came to light, they then revoked the visas of the 95 Libyans, saying that they were irregularly acquired. They were acquired through means of misrepresentation. And looking at where this is, it's unclear if the Libyans will be giving their legal representatives some time to even look into the allegations that those visas were acquired irregularly, and whether or not they'll be bringing even a court order to have them reinstated. So all of that will unfold perhaps once the Libyans have given instructions to their legal representatives. Quite interesting how that will happen, Bravo, given the fact that there are so many of them and all of them want to speak at the same time. I mean, you look at, the kind of behavior that we saw right at the end of proceedings. They were chanting, many of them speaking to members of the media, even when there was a court order that clearly bars communication direct communication at least, between members of the media and the accused persons. So one wonders what those consultations will be, and given the fact that all of them have been charged individually, what will that look like? Are the legal representatives going to be consulting with them individually going forward? But I mean, those are things that will be handled by the legal team during those consultations. When we come back, we'll hear the outcomes of the further investigations, and then the matter will then proceed from then on. Bravo.
Linda Mnisi, that's where we're going to leave it for now. Linda, of course, tracking that particular story for us.